Welcome back to part 5 on my sky watching project series of videos. Where I left off in the last video, I was attempting to create a series of functions to be able to map altitude and azimuth onto an image taken from my security cameras so that I could map a particular pixel to a particular altitude and azimuth, and from there be able to get more information out of what I saw than what I previously had. And I had a few interesting challenges that I wasn't quite ready to address just yet. So I decided to step back a little bit and think about what else I could end up doing. And I got an idea by looking at the same time for several consecutive days. So here you can see on October 19th of 2019, there was one star right where my cursor is now, just above my cursor, and there's another one right there. And if I go 24 hours later, you can see that it's the same time of the day or the night, midnight, but now the star has shifted from this position to this position. And if I go one more night after that, it's now shifted over here. So I was able to capture the shift in the star field within just a couple of days, and that got me interested in other things that I could end up doing. I could have done something as well, which would be probably one of the first and easiest things I could do, which would be to create a time lapse like this. So you could see the stars moving across and the moon moving across. So I could create a time lapse like this as well. But I had a slightly more ambitious idea in mind, and it kind of came back to my previous problem of being able to profile the optical characteristics of the camera so that I could account for pincushion, account for the camera's orientation, etc., and be able to reverse all of those distortions that were found in the camera. And I really didn't have a lot of time or energy or ambition at that point to do that just yet. So I decided to look at the problem from a slightly different point of view. One of the things that I would like to do would be to take all of these images that I've captured, and if I rotate the images to counteract the opposite rotation of the barrel that I had when I set the camera up. And I did that, as I explained in my earlier video, because the camera's vertical field of view is not big enough with that setting to capture the full arc of the sun throughout the year. And that at that point, the sun wouldn't even be visible at the bottom of the screen on a day like today. So I purposely rotated the camera clockwise so that I could capture a bit of the sun over here. And then, as I explained in my other video, in retrospect, I should have rotated it counterclockwise so that I could capture the sun more clearly over here. But it is what it is, and at this point the camera is rotated and I have to counter rotate the images to compensate for the fact that everything is going up like this. I have to rotate it so that they all go horizontally like this, or as I showed in my previous video, slightly parabolic shape. And so I have a few corrective factors that I have to do to be able to stitch these images back together, but I would like to create a long panoramic view from sunrise to sunset, and then from night rise to night set. So rather than to try to profile the camera's properties so that I could do a proper job and find out that it's not particularly interesting, I decided I was going to approach it from a slightly different direction, which was to first start by simulating what the camera sees. And then with that, I have an exact known set of coordinates, and that I could then extend that out further to create my 360-degree panoramic view. And in order to do that, I needed to be able to accurately calculate the sun's position, the star's position, and the moon's position. I had already found this spreadsheet for calculating the solar position. It's the NOAA Solar Calculations spreadsheet. It's an XLS file you can find and download. I found this formula to calculate the moon's position, and I tried to follow all of these equations, and I got somewhere around here before the values no longer matched their example. And then when I also tried to calculate from other non-examples, it didn't exactly match what I saw. So I tried to use a formula that I found, and I couldn't. So I had found this almost a year ago. So in August, I decided I was going to try again, and this time I looked specifically for some Java code, and I found this. It turns out that this was fairly promising, and it was reasonably accurate from what I was able to tell. So I had what I felt were enough pieces to be able to start a new sub-project to carry this main project forward. And so I'm going to stop here because I like to keep the videos nice and short. But I will come back before long to make another video so I can show off what I did to get to the final results, and also to show the application that I have written to tie a bunch of these things together. So once again, if you like this video, you know what to do, standard YouTube stuff. And I will see you again in another video, hopefully very shortly. I am on vacation at this point, and there's nothing outside to do. We're in lockdown. So I'm trying to spend all of this time to get these videos out. So hopefully I'm planning to make a few more videos this week. So I'll see you again in another video soon enough. So bye for now.